Welcome back to The Explainer. Okay, so today we're totally demystifying the foundational mechanics of the web. Whether you're gearing up to launch a digital project or, just want to understand the modern world a bit better, you are exactly in the right place. We're talking zero complicated jargon, absolutely no coding degrees required here, just a bare-bones breakdown of how websites actually work.
Let's be real. Building a website can kind of feel like trying to break into a secret club where everyone speaks a totally different language. It's intimidating. But here's the truth. Before you lay a single digital brick, you just need to understand the underlying behind-the-scenes logic. Once this clicks, everything else, including software like WordPress, is going to become incredibly easy for you.
To keep us focused, here's our simple roadmap for today. Number 1, the big picture. 2, core definitions. 3, the shop analogy. 4, the 5-step journey. 5, where WordPress fits in. And finally, number 6, avoiding beginner mistakes. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. The big picture. Let's take a bird's eye view of how the web actually operates.
So when you zoom all the way out, the internet relies on a surprisingly simple number. 3. Literally every single website out there, whether it's a tiny personal blog or some multi-million-dollar e-commerce empire, relies on just 3 fundamental parts working together. Honestly, if you understand these 3 things, you understand the whole shebang.
Section 2. Core definitions. Let's break down exactly what those 3 crucial elements actually are.
The very first core piece is your domain name. Simply put, it's just your website's address. Think google.com or, yourwebsite.com. Fun fact for you, the first ever domain name, symbolics.com, was actually registered way back in 1985. Pretty wild, right? And without a domain, you are essentially invisible on the web. But your domain is way more than just a technical requirement. It's your digital storefront sign. It represents your brand, your identity, and really, it's almost always the very first impression you make on people. That's exactly why a great domain name absolutely has to be easy to remember, easy to spell, and deeply relevant to what you actually do.
All right, that brings us to piece number 2, hosting. At its core, every website is just a collection of files, right? Images, text documents, layout code. But those files need a physical place to live in the real world. So hosting is simply the service that rents you the physical space to store all those files.
Now, when you buy hosting, you're renting space on a quote-unquote server. Let's completely de-jargonize that right now. A server is not some magical sci-fi machine. It's literally just a computer. Actually, the only real difference between a server and the laptop you might be using right now is that a server is always turned on, it has a supermassive internet connection, and it's built solely to deliver your website files whenever someone asks for them.
Moving on to Section 3, the shop analogy. Let's connect all these pieces together.
So imagine you're opening a physical shop. In the real world, you obviously need a shop address so people can find you, right? Well, that is exactly your domain name. Then you need a physical building to put your stuff in. That is your hosting. And finally, you need the shop interior, the shelves, the paint, the cash register. That is your website software like WordPress. Address, building, interior, domain, hosting, WordPress. It really is that simple.
Okay, section 4, the 5-step journey. Let's look at what happens behind the scenes in a functional system.
This journey happens literally every single time you use the internet. Step 1, a visitor types your domain into their browser. Step 2, the browser instantly looks up where your host is located. Step 3, it connects directly to your server. Step 4, your server shoots the website files right back. And Step 5, the browser displays your site. And the crazy part? This entire global data bounce happens in just a matter of milliseconds. Blink and you'll miss it.
Section 5. Where WordPress fits in, also known as your interior decorator.
So where does WordPress actually fit into this journey? Let's go back to our shop analogy. WordPress sits directly on your hosting server and acts as your interior decorator. Instead of you having to write raw code from scratch every single time you want to publish a blog post, WordPress handles all that heavy lifting for you. It organizes your files, formats your text, and basically tells the server exactly how to present your beautiful site to the visitor. It's a real game changer.
Section 6. Avoiding beginner mistakes. Let's make sure you stay completely in control.
You see, beginners often mistakenly believe that buying a domain name means they've instantly bought a full website, or they'll completely confuse WordPress with hosting. But in reality, these are entirely separate modules. The domain is just the address. WordPress is just the software. Understanding this strict separation is absolutely crucial. It gives you total control, ensuring you never get scammed or locked into some confusing, overpriced package down the road.
Because of that confusion, we really want you to avoid these 3 major traps. First off, buying a domain without a plan. You got to make sure it fits your long-term brand identity. Second, blindly choosing the absolute cheapest hosting available. Remember, this is the building your business lives in. If the roof is leaking and the doors won't open, or in web terms, if your site constantly breaks down, your customers are going to leave. And third, overcomplicating the setup with expensive add-ons you just don't need yet. Keep it simple.
Seriously, I want to completely reassure you here. You do not need anything complicated to get going. To open your digital shop to the world, you just need those 3 foundational pillars we talked about: a domain name so people can find you, hosting to act as your building, and WordPress to make the inside look incredible. If you understand this, you are already miles ahead of the pack.
So as you prepare to kick off your own digital journey, I want to leave you with a really critical question. Think deeply about that very first step. What is your website's identity going to be? What specific name will be your digital storefront sign to the world? Really think on that. Honestly, it's the absolute perfect place to start. Thank you so much for joining me today on The Explainer, and I'll catch you next time.